Hello and welcome to the Fear Free Human Coaching Show. I am your host, Zen Cryer DeBrook, and we are here with the intention of supporting you in having a mentally fear-free life. At the bottom of fear is things like worry, anxiety, overwhelm. This is how it shows up in our daily lives. Frustration, irritation, to name a few. When you doubt, when you're feeling distrustful, overwhelmed, when you are impatient and defensive. All of these things are really at their core, at the basis of it is mental fear, right? And so what I've spent the last 30 years of my life doing is decoding all the ways that our mind gets locked into its software system. And what happens is between the ages of 0 and 7, we collect a whole bunch of ideas about how the world works and what isn't safe and what is safe. And then these become what I call stress themes. You're going to hear me talk about that a lot. And it's these stress themes give us a knee-jerk reaction. You have an instantaneous go-to response, which is called a stress defense. And this is really what's running our lives. And so when you want to make a difference in your life, when you decide that you're not happy with the way you're behaving, I don't know about you, but have you ever gotten to a place in your life, and I'd love to see this in the comments, actually. Hello, everybody who's watching. Go ahead, and if you're watching on any of the streaming platforms where you can comment, go ahead and interact with me here. And I'm also going to put in the comments, because this seems to be working easier for people, the link. There we go. Let's see if that'll work, to be able to come on and coach with me. Have you ever gotten to a place in your life where you're just sick of yourself? You're sick of your reactions. You're sick of not showing up for yourself. You're just tired of the way you're doing your life, but yet you can't seem to do it any other way. I know that for a lot of the students that I work with, between the ages of like 45 and 55, 60, right in there, they start getting to the place where they really are tired of the way they've been doing their life. They want to be able to do it differently, and they can't. And what I want to say is that it's really actually very hard to do life differently, because once that software system of our mind is created, okay, what ends up happening is it runs us. We don't run it. Okay, it runs us. I call it being hijacked by your mind. And as soon as you start to realize that you can't escape yourself, you can't escape the thoughts you're having. And this kind of starts to happen as you get to a place where you're not striving as much, where you're trying to land into your life. You're trying to not it's like pre-retirement age, right? You're trying to like get to a place where you don't want to be working so hard. You want things to be more, you want to have achieved more by now. And then all of a sudden here you are, and you feel like you're just constantly in the same groove. Maybe you've done a ton of courses, you've read all the books, you've gone to the therapy, you've done the coaching, and you can't figure out why. Okay. Hi, everybody. Yep. Sky says so often. I love that. Why, none of this hard work is paying off. None of it is really making that transformation that you have been looking for in your life. And the thing is that you really can't. And I'm not saying this in order to, like, you can't do it by yourself just by putting more information into your mind. I'm not saying this to discourage you, because there is a way, and most of you who are watching have studied the internal guidance system. Body updates the mind. It's the body that updates the mind. You can't just read a book and have an actual change in your response to the world around you. Because when the pressure comes on, the fight, flight, freeze, or fawn responses to fear happen. A lot of people believe that fear is, the physical tiger fear. And that's what I call, there's a physical fear and a mental fear. And the physical fear is like tiger fear. Oh no, there's a tiger in the bush. It's walking down a dark alley, and you see a person walking and their shadow is behind you, and you can hear them, and you don't know if they're safe or not safe. It's fear about your kid didn't come home yet, and they're always home on time, and you can't reach them on their phone, and you don't know where they are. That's physical fear, really. It really is. It's like, oh no, they might not be safe. You might not be safe. Here's the difference, though. We have mental fear, which is the things that were programmed into us between the ages of 0 and 7, the things that that our mind believes isn't safe. Okay, it's mom and dad start yelling. So somebody starts yelling and gets angry and we go hide under our bed. Well, then if there's anybody's mad at us, we go and we hide out. We don't want to be in the confrontation. We found that if we just go hide, eventually it'll blow over. And now we've got people who are mad at us and we're not handling any conflicts in our life. We're avoidant to it and things are getting worse and things are building up and we don't know how to handle it because our fear is flight, right? Some of it may be fight. Somebody may come in and you might feel like you're being criticized and you immediately rah, and you attack the person if you feel like you're being criticized or judged or you don't have the answer to something. Fawning is people pleasing. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. You're in a situation and somebody is, really struggling with something and you've learned that if you being the people pleaser in your house, the fawning, that makes everybody be nice to you. So you're like, you take on more work, you become the martyr, you fawn now. So these things are still happening, these responses, and they're knee jerk and we do them and we're not happy with the way we respond in those ways. And to be able to do it different, really, actually, you have to use the physical body. That's why EFT works. Hypnosis is pretty good and works pretty well for most things. You've got to get into some physical thing. Well, I'm here to tell you that when you use the internal guidance system and what you're witnessing when I'm coaching with people is what is going from a reaction they're having where they're unhappy and they're having a stressful experience in their life, a fearful experience in their life, an irritating or frustrating experience in their life. That reaction that they're in is what they come to the call with today. And then working with the mind, you'll see that we get to a place where they go from a closed, tight state in their body to a place where we find the right thought and it releases it and they're open. And that's what we're talking about when we're talking about openings and closings on the show is your physical nervous system response changes. And when that happens, you change. It's hard to even go back to the old thinking because it does not feel true for you anymore. All right. So that's what you're witnessing today. And it's really powerful, okay, to be here in this experience. And so we've got Carrie saying, yep, figuring out what my stress themes and defenses are is helping me learn how to get through a gnarly divorce. Oh, honey, I'm sorry you're going through a gnarly divorce and create a new life for yourself. But at least you're getting the tools. And Carrie, I'd love for you to mention, are you finding the difference? What is it different? Like, are you noticing that you're having a different response to your ex-husband or soon to be ex-husband than you've had ever before by just simply working through the internal guidance systems and the stress themes and defenses and being able to do it different when you find the opening? It is so powerful. It is so powerful how fast your life can change once you understand how to jump out of the stress themes and defenses that are holding you back and holding you in a locked position in your life. So with that said, we're going to go ahead and go to our first person in coaching. And we have Jane. Hi, Jane.
Hello.
Hi, you're up for coaching. What can I help you with today?
Wow. I didn't even realize it. I would like some help in terms of my tendency to procrastinate and to not stay focused in on a critical issue.
Okay. Do you have a particular critical issue that you'd like to talk about specifically? It's easier if you give me specifics, but I don't want you to give me specifics if it's something that you feel embarrassed or shy about. You can be more general. Jane? Are you there? I can't hear you. I'm not sure if you muted.
Now can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes, I can now. Okay, there you are. You were trying to get on. Hi, beautiful. That's a great color on you. All right.
Yeah. It's about, you can see I have lots of papers and other things. And my challenge is that I don't listen. I'm a hoarder of information. And
Okay.
I don't want to let things go. And I'm not quite sure what it is that is holding on to stuff I no longer need. And
Okay.
since I'm also, this is a time of my life where I need to be able to manifest my wise woman self because I'll be 79 in June.
Oh, you look great, girl.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah. So that's where that seems to be the most important thing in terms of organizing my time and making sure I am following through on my actions.
Okay. So there's a couple of things. Number one, there's organizing your time.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And then there's also organization of your life. They're two separate things.
Okay. Yeah, let me make sure I got some notes here.
Well, I'll tell you what, don't worry about notes.
Okay.
Come over here because it's going to be recorded and you can go back and watch it again. How's
Oh,
that?
good,
Okay.
good.
Let's just be present together because we're going to work with your body.
Okay,
So there's
yeah.
a couple of things. So I'm going to have you move into the center of your camera of the screen because you're beautiful. Thank you. All right. Now, procrastination is always one of four things. Okay. So one is the thing that you're procrastinating on does not need to be done at all. Our mind makes up things that it thinks needs to be done all the time, and they end up falling off our list. They never need to be done. It just doesn't need to be done. And so you can check with your IGS depending on for each different thing to find out if it's whatever opens you is what's true. So if you think this thing doesn't even need to be done, I'm just making more work for myself. Okay, you're going to do this with individual things. If it opens you, that's true. If you feel a tightness, that means that that's not true and it does need to be done. Do you understand? It's kind of counterintuitive. Okay, that's number one. Number two, the second thing, don't worry about it right now. I'm just going to explain it to you and then we'll pick a couple things. The number two thing is it needs to be done by someone else. You need help with it. There's somebody else and you're taking it on to do it. Us women do it all the time with the people in our lives. We don't want to bother them or we don't want to put them out by asking, or if we ask them, we know it's going to take them so long and we're going to get pissed off watching it not get done for so long that it's just better to get it done ourselves. But that's not always how it's supposed to be. That really sometimes the other person needs to do it. Okay. I had my classic example is the wife that wants to clean out the garage. She's been it's on her list for 3 years and she opens it, it's somebody else's to do. And she suddenly realizes it's the son and the husband who need to do it because it's all their stuff. Right. The third thing is the timing isn't right. There is a divine timing that happens in the world around us where everything lines up and the flow happens. This happens for stuff like that closet that you haven't gotten cleaned or a project that's half finished and you haven't finished the rest of it. There's a missing piece in there somewhere, something that you don't know that you don't know. It could be taxes. You keep putting them off and putting them off. And then all of a sudden one morning you wake up and you feel like getting it done and it's a breeze. All the documents are there. Everything's easy. You've got the time. No one's interrupting you. You're actually kind of excited to see how you spent your finances in the past year, right? So there's a divine timing where people, places, things, documents are coming together. And the last one is when we're making something more complicated than it needs to be. You have this project and your mind has 60 steps and you really only need 2 to get it going. And it's the complexity stops you from moving forward because the way you're thinking of doing it is not going to work. It's going to actually gum up the works and be too hard. Okay. So the thing is you can go through using your IGS and you go through each of these 4 elements and you can sense, is this the right time for this? And if you open, it is. If you close, it's not. And the thing about timing is when the time comes, you'll feel open and ready to do it. If you open that you're making it too complex, then the answer is what's the first tiny little step I can make? Or the 1 or 2 steps I can make on this. Well, I can gather all the materials I need and put them into a basket so they're ready to go when I'm ready. Or I can call this person and find out the information that I'll need to know and how much it's going to cost and get that started. I can talk to my family. Let's say you're procrastinating on a family reunion. I can enroll 2 or 3 people to help me figure out how to get it done. I can have a conversation about where would we like to have it? Who would we invite? How would we like to do this? Simple conversation instead of like, well, I've got to find the place and get the money together and invite everybody and do a really nice invitation and figure out the family t-shirts. And the complexity is too much. All you need to do is just call a family member and say, will you partner with me on this? And all of a sudden the ball and the juices will be flowing. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. Actually, it's interesting that you say that because I just got off of the phone with my sister and I have to buy the tickets to fly to St. Louis because we're having this reunion in May. And she says, I already thought you got, I said, okay, let's get this straight. And she couldn't find the information. And then I told her, just reach, find, and she found it. There's
Good
techniques.
Yes.
And so it's interesting that you say that because
Yeah.
it's about planning the activities that I have coming up.
Yeah. And so maybe, that's it. So part of it's the planning of the activities. And so maybe it's a matter of keeping it very simple. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be surprised at how many times an activity like that, like a flight doesn't get booked. And then you realize everything suddenly goes on sale. You start getting emails going, it's a sale to St. Louis. And you're like, if I had booked it a month ago, I would have missed out on this sale.
Yeah.
So, because there is a divine timing to things. But the key here is I haven't seen it ever really truly be, okay, a lack of focus or laziness.
Ooh, okay.
There's not a problem with your brain or who you are or how you're being. It's one of those four things. And once you understand which one of them it is, then you can relax and know its place. Okay. Now, truly, I know that people have ADHD and they survive their lives, but it's still there. I don't think that ADHD is about not getting things done. I think ADHD is about getting them done in a particular way. Okay. So that's what you should look at. When you have something and you're laying there in bed and it's another day that you haven't gotten your flight booked, right? Go, maybe, is it just not the right time? And if you open, you're like, okay, so there's a reason I haven't booked it. And when the time comes, I'll pull out my credit card and it'll get done quick.
Hmm.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
So, yeah, so it's important. And it's a way to be able to analyze, because procrastination is so stressful. We think that we're not doing enough, we're failing, we're loser, we're lazy, we're disappointing people. All of that's not true. It's all closing, which means none of that's true. And all that torturous thought is come between the ages of 0 and 7, where we've been banged on about how much did you get done today, little one? Like,
Mhm.
come on, you're 4 years old. Did you clean your room? Did you brush your teeth? Did you eat your meal? Did you, you're like, wow, especially as we were being raised, our parents were like, if idle hands are the devil's plaything, right? So we were kept marching, a lot. So we have these habits in our mind that are torturous. Okay. That's number one. Number two, a lot of times when somebody can't get organized with paperwork, it's really because they don't have a system that works for them. Okay. So I'm going to give you a couple ideas of a couple systems, and I want you to see which one feels best for you. All right.
Okay.
One is, I'm really bad at filing documents. Okay.
Yeah.
So I have a beautiful basket. It's about 18 inches by 15 inches. It's pretty, and it's got a lid on it. Okay. And as things come in through the year, I put them on the basket. Now, this is what's interesting. My friend told me this. She goes, just put them in a basket. I'm like, okay. Anything that I don't need to keep, I shred. I don't need to keep a utility bill. I can find all that information online to compare last year from this year if I want to or whatever. And I never do that anyways. But anything else, the month it comes in, if you just you put your documents in the basket, your medical receipt, your medical bill, your utilities, the car insurance, whatever is in that basket. The interesting thing, it goes from January to December. They're already filed by date that they came in. Does that make sense to you? And they're done. Basically, unless you want to put them in individual files, but you don't need to. You could go back to June 2023. Then you take that at the end of the year, you take that box, you flip it on its side, and you stick it in a white lidded folder, and you stick it in a closet somewhere, and you put 2024 on it. And now all your stuff's filed. And all you have to do is you dig through the basket to June, and you know exactly where that document is.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm just giving you an example of how easy it can be. Instead of us going and having piles all over the house, right?
Yeah.
Of things that we're going to eventually put away. The other thing is you can have a box of, I like doing now, doing in the future. Those are two great boxes. And these could be 3 beautiful baskets with lids. Okay. Doing in the future is all those projects that you want. Let's say you've got magazines and you're pulling out stuff that you want to knit someday, or a picture you want to do, or a craft project. You're keeping the whole entire magazine, when all you have to do is pull out the article, staple it together, and put it in your doing in the future box. And then next winter, when you're bored and you don't know what to do, you can go through the box and find the fun things that you want to do someday. And you can recycle the magazines. I'm just giving you ideas
Yeah.
of ways to make it easy, to where you can, instead of having piles around your house, because us women, if we walk past a pile, our mind immediately goes to the undone and tortures us. There's that thing you're not doing. There's that pile. Everything's messy. We don't get to really relax truly until our house is tidy. And if we have a hard time figuring out how to tidy our house,
Yeah.
then it's stressful.
Yes, I belong to an hour exchange. And so there are people that they volunteer their hour, and it's an hour for an hour.
Mhm.
So I had this woman come over and I said, just let's clean up all of the papers of all of these things that I get in the mail that was sitting on the table. And we just cleared it out.
Yep.
And that was good. And so one of the things I am looking at is, because I've got all of these files, and what I do, and this is something that is, I will put it in, okay, this is travel. That's a travel folder. This
Mhm.
is my Wells Fargo. That's my financial folder. And so I've got these different folders, and then I have my challenge is that I always look forward to, oh, this looks interesting. I'll sign up for this. And I sign up for all of this stuff. And it's just by happenstance that I happen to take a look at my email. And so, oh, you're coming on in and out right now. And I got on. So, it is about organizing my time and organizing what it is that I really want to do now. And what,
Okay. So for
yeah,
time, do you use your calendar on your computer or your phone?
um, I do it on some things, on things that are important for me to remember. And then I have a calendar book, and I
Use
also
it.
have I haven't used it in ages, but I've got this um, big poster on my door, and I can okay, I can see everything that it is, but I haven't taken the time to focus on that. And so just keeping myself organized with what I'm to do.
So do you have a phone,
I
like a
do.
digital? Right. Which one? Do you have an iPhone or do you have a Android?
I have an iPhone and I have a backup Android, but I don't like to use the Android and I use the iPhone.
Okay. That's good. So here's the rule. If it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done.
Okay. Yeah.
That's the rule. So the second that somebody wants to, if it doesn't get scheduled, it doesn't get done.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, that doesn't mean that you can't be free to put stuff in like this call right now. You came through your email and you're like, I have time, I'm going to jump in.
Yeah.
But the moment that anything comes through, you open up your phone, you get in the habit, you open up your phone and you put it in.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if you're in your iPhone and you open up a calendar, okay,
Yeah.
you open up a thing. If you go and you open up any one, what you're going to find is that I'm trying to get mine to open. There we go. You'll see invitees. Okay. If you open it up, you'll have the title, you'll have the day and time, you'll have whether it repeats, right? And then you'll have it says invites. You see that?
Okay. Today I have calendars. I have March. I don't know.
Okay. So hold on. You see right there?
Oh,
Okay. If you look right here, down here, it says invites right here. I'm
right
trying to see
there.
you.
Yeah.
Hold on. Where'd it go? Come on. So you can put in anyone's email or phone number in that little spot that you are doing something with, and it'll be on both of your calendars.
Okay. I have, there's no invitations. So
See it here? Right, look. I'm going to show you right here. It says it's under calendar. So hold on. I'm trying to see if I can get my computer to show you.
Oh, it says, so if I click on March, it has the month of March and I click on calendars.
Yep. And if you click on if you go and you create an event, if you could create a calendar event, like you're going to the doctor's, right? Or you're going to go to your sister's. Anyways, you can look at this later.
Okay.
And you can look at how to use this. A good thing to do is go to YouTube and type in iCal, ICAL, how to, and you can watch a video. But what's really cool about that is in that moment, you can type in the person you're going to meet with and they will get an email and a reminder that you're meeting. And that helps keep both of you organized.
Yeah. I get those for a particular Zoom calls I have with my coach. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. So you're able to do that too. But the rule of thumb is the moment that you make an appointment, you put it in your phone. That's it.
Okay.
You actually have to just stop in the moment and go, hold on, I'm going to put it in my phone. And you put it in your phone.
Okay.
That's it. And you can always change it later. And then the other thing I do is I put in time for myself or my kids or time to organize something because you can always move it later. But the key is about this stuff is you have to find a system, Jane, that works for you and that's simple.
Yeah.
That's really simple. And if something's not working for you, like right now you have stuff I can see behind you. You've got some papers and different things, and you kept looking behind you when we first started the call,
Yeah,
right?
right.
So it's not working for you,
No,
right?
it isn't.
So instead of trying to do the same thing, like I've got to get all these papers into a folder,
Mhm.
right? Or I've got, whatever it is. How can I make this work where it's super easy? You already know that it works to leave them in a pile on top of your desk because
Yeah,
that's what you do.
yeah,
Okay, that's what you do. So you know that works. So now maybe it's as simple as, like I said, you go down and get some simple boxes, like pretty wicker baskets with a lid, and then you just layer your stuff in there and you put them on the floor stacked up pretty in the corner, and you don't see the cluttered paper. You know where everything is. It's all filed by date. If you ever need it, you just dig through it. You'll be surprised how you never need it. The problem with the papers behind you is you never need them.
yeah.
You just feel like you have to keep them.
It's true.
If you needed them, you'd dig through them and you'd find them, but you don't. You have this idea in your head that papers need to go in a folder,
Yeah.
and they don't. Papers need to be organized by type, car, banking. They don't.
Mm.
They don't. And it's actually pretty amazing. I actually like the monthly because I can go back through, like if you got a bill and that you're, a tax receipt or something, you just go to the box and look at, oh, there's June. And I know we paid we did the tires or the medical or the whatever in June. There it is. Pull it out. And then you put it right back into June. It's very simple. And you literally just take the whole box and put it into another box that you have to keep for 7 years and put it in the garage. And every 7 years you pull them out and shred them. I mean, it's really that simple, and it have to be a big deal.
Yeah.
Life is too short for you to be worrying about this anymore.
Yeah.
If you need it, you know exactly where it is, and it looks pretty. You see what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then there are things that I just had to get over. I used to keep all these magazines because I was going to go through them again someday till I had, stacks of magazines. And then I realized I'm not going to use these. Right. And so I would recycle them, or what I actually did is I gave them to the library so they could use it for collages and stuff for their art projects and things. But I've a couple times I've put them on Facebook and said, does anybody need a whole bunch of magazines for collages or kids stuff or art projects? And somebody will come pick them all up. But there's things there's the other last piece is never doing now, meaning there are things that I am never going to do. And you'll open if you're not going to do them. It'll feel peaceful to let them go. And you just look around and you say, these are things that I'm not going to do. I am not probably going to learn German.
Yeah.
It's been on my list. I'm not doing it. So I just let certain things go now. It's like and if it ever comes back around, I have the opportunity, I'll do it. But there's you just have to let some things go, right? And
Yeah.
it's the same with that. If you're trying to organize your house, a good way to do it is you take anything you haven't touched in the last 6 months, put it in a couple bins, put the bins in the garage. Okay, because that way your house is not cluttered. And you just go back through them in a year, and you can decide then what you want to get rid of and what you want to keep. It's too hard to decide in the moment. We feel like we're going to need it. You know
Yeah.
where it is and you haven't gotten rid of it. Your house is neat and tidy. It feels clean and good and simple, so you can focus on other things. And in a year, you can go back and look through them and slim it down again, get rid of a bunch of stuff you haven't touched in a year, keep the things where you're like, I'm still not sure about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's that simple. It can be very simple and very fun. That's the
Thank you.
key.
Yeah. Yeah. Make it simple, make it fun.
Make it simple, make it fun, and don't be too organized. You don't have to be too organized.
I don't have to quote unquote get it right.
No, not at all. It just needs to feel peaceful inside so that you can get back to having fun with your friends, doing things to take care of your body, and enjoying yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's in the niggly part of your brain that keeps going, you got to do this, you got to do that, it destroys our joy. So notice those things and go, what am I going to do with that? So I can quickly and easily get rid of that task in a simple, fun way so that I don't have this in my head taking me away from what's really important, the people in my life and enjoying nature and the fun things I want to do. Those little is just a simple awareness, alarm bell that there's something that needs to be put away for now in an easy, simple, fun way. Don't let it torture you. Okay?
Yeah. Thank you for that. Yeah, because I do have a series of responsibilities. I have a poetry book that has just gotten published,
Nice. Congratulations.
and I actually got it right here.
Let me see it. Let me see it.
Love
Oh,
Song
it's
to My
beautiful.
Soul.
Love song. It's beautiful. I love Machu Picchu. I've been there. It's so great. I love that.
And
Congratulations.
this is a picture that I took about 7 years ago, and or actually it was 10 years ago. Wow! And I made an offering to Putakusi, which is the feminine mountain there.
Okay.
And and I did it sitting in and I was looking at it, and I offered the coca leaves, and I said, "This is for you." And then I took a picture of Putakusi, and then when I looked at the picture, it turns out that there was all of these violet flames coming from the sun and framing the entire mountain. That's
It's beautiful.
Putakusi. Yeah. So yeah, and I'm just so this is my first copy, and now I have steps that I'm going to take to get myself on Facebook. Well, I already have a website because I did a summit last year, and then I have two memoirs coming out. So I have these things that are exciting, and I really want to do. And I'm amazed. I was reading through this poetry. This poetry book is something that I had, there's piles of stuff in the back. I had actually put it together in 2000 because, and I was working with a therapist at the time. And I said, okay, well, I'm just going to take this. And I took all of the poetry that I had written. There's poems in here that go back to 1970. So they really
Wow.
the three periods of my life: my maiden years when I was getting my PhD, I was a graduate student getting my PhD, my mother years when I taught at Cal State Bakersfield as a professor of cultural anthropology for
That's
38 years,
awesome.
and then my retirement years, which is where I'm the wise woman, helping others to midlife women in particular deal with the issues they're facing.
I love it.
Ageless endurance, redefining fitness, and embracing wisdom.
I love it. See, now there's all of that is a really good reason for you to get all this stuff off your plate in a simple, easy way so that you can focus
Yes.
on the stuff that you love.
Yes, 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 absolutely. Wow. Ooh,
We have someone who's commenting on your book, says that that is amazing. Congrats on your poetry book. You're very inspiring.
yeah,
That's good. Congrats. It's not a little thing. I've written a book. It's not a little thing. It takes a lot.
yeah, it does. And I realize that I have a lot that I can contribute to others, and
Yeah,
so and it's particularly the persistence and the shit that I went through. They're all experiences that are learning experiences. There's nothing that doesn't have a reason for being.
I know. Exactly. It may take you a little bit of time to realize that, but it always works out to be that way, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Yes, it
It
does.
does.
This is
Well, it's
well.
so nice to spend time with you.
Yeah,
Thanks for hopping on. Yes, my love. It's so good. So
yeah.
good. Well, watch this again so you can write out the stuff about procrastination. Use your internal guidance system to find your opening and your flow.
Yes.
Okay. And come back if you need me. Okay. I'll be here.
All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. They love it. It's nice to meet you.
Nice
Really good.
to meet you. Good.
All right. I'm going to ask Carrie to come on here. Thank you so much, Jane.
Okay.
Carrie, I would love it if you would click the link and come on so we can talk to you about what's going on if you're open. It's more than just naming your closings, and what could be better than that with the rage. Rage is an emotion. And so if you want to pop on here, girl. Oh, yes. My book is called Your Inner GPS. You can find it on Amazon and Audible. And it is, here, I'll put that up. You can find it on Amazon and Audible. And I read the book myself. So it is like a little manual. There's some old content. I've got a new book coming out. Two actually new books that I'm writing and working on. Let's see here. And dun, dun, dun. There we go. I'm going to hop on here with Carrie. Let's get her done, Carrie. Let's figure this out together so you don't have to be feeling that way. Hi, sweetness.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm just moving things so I can sit on my couch.
Okay, that sounds good.
There.
Rage,
And I
huh?
put my glasses on so I can see you.
It's okay. I have new headphones that work, so I'm really excited because they're not the big ones anymore.
Nice.
So yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So what's the rage? Let's talk about the rage.
Oh. Well, it's related to my husband's inability or not taking care of, simply just not taking care of stuff that is going to impact me in a negative way, like not renewing his driver's license for 4 years, and then we get a letter from our car insurance company. Oh, we see you haven't had a driver's license in 4 years. We're not going to be able to cover you unless you get it done by such and such a date. And he did that. That was last year before I left him, with much cajoling and reminding from me. He got it done just in the nick of time. And then a month later, I found a note in his pants pocket when I was doing laundry from the Multnomah County Courthouse that he had not appeared at a court date for a moving violation, and that he needed to take care of this or his license was going to be suspended. And I handed it to him and I said, take care of this, will you? Will you take care of this? And apparently he never did, because I just found out on Monday that we don't have any car insurance because it was revoked because of him not taking care of that. And I don't have any way of finding out how long I was driving with no coverage, but it was more
Well,
than.
at this point, we're just going to be in gratitude that nothing's happened so that you
Yeah,
can fix it.
exactly.
Okay.
Right. So
But
I was
yep.
just say the rage was like from that moment that I realized how much money it was going to cost me to buy car insurance through no fault of my own.
It'll be a lot less because if he's not on it. So you want to look at that.
I know, but I mean, it's $250 a month for me.
So hold on. So we're going to work, which I know. So we're going to, yes, that's true. Because that's what I do. That's what I have. Okay. So, things are getting very expensive. It's part of what's going on.
Right. But it's because I drove for over 30 days without a car insurance.
I got it. I totally got it. But I'm going to share with you how to get out of this.
Okay.
Okay. You know me, I'm going to tell the truth. So this is a trigger going on in your mirror.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Which means that it's some place that this is happening in your life that's related to your stuff. Triggers are always come back to being something that you're not. It's a blind spot about yourself.
Okay.
And the faster you can find it and figure it out and fix it, the faster your husband will not be affecting you like this. Because there's a pattern of irresponsibility. So there's 3 things in a mirror, okay, that we're looking for so you can untangle this. And
Okay.
this works. I'm telling you. Okay, I've never had it not work in my own personal life or all of the various students that have looked at the world from this perspective.
Okay.
The only reason that it can be coming at you like this and affecting you in this way is, number one, it's either something you're doing to yourself, something you're doing to someone else, or some way you would like to be able to be this way and you won't let yourself.
Okay.
So, right. So hold on. You might not be able to figure it out in this particular second, because
Yes.
that's not usually the way. That's not usually the way. And it's hard enough to even swallow egoically that this other person and the affront that they are in our lives is coming from ourselves. That's just, even that is so hard. Trust me.
Well,
I know. Because we want it to be, no, I'm not doing this. It's all them. But the truth is that this actual way of processing these things works, which is the only reason we have the courage to even do it at all.
mhm.
Because you can't, this is the way to stop him from affecting you in these ways. Because this, like I said, this is a pattern. So
Yes,
what you
it
want to
is.
do is you want to write it out. And the worst part is even if you divorce him and never see him again, because this is something that has to do with you, it'll come back around through another human being. So we might as
Right.
well do it now.
Right.
before it keeps happening to us, right?
Yeah.
Let's get this nipped in the darn bud. So the thing is this, it's like, you got to look at writing out without PC. No, don't be as pissed off and upset, and use the exact language that's going on in your head. Write out exactly how you feel. Okay.
Write out how
Okay.
exactly how I feel.
Yep. And we won't do it on the call today, but you can come
Yeah.
back. Yeah. And then what we're looking for is, where am I doing this to myself, someone else, or I would like to be able to be this way, but I can't let myself. I have a feeling it's that one.
Well, okay, just okay, just a second. So where am I doing this to myself? And then what was the last one? Where would I like to be this way?
And I can't let myself.
Like,
I
where
will
would
not
like
let
to
myself.
be- Where would I like to be the same way that my husband is being?
Yep.
Okay.
So yourself, you're either doing it to yourself, you're doing it to someone else, or you'd like to be able to be this way. So I'm going to give you an example of each of them. Okay. Number one is you're doing it to yourself. So an example of that is somebody is really berating you all the time, picking on you, putting you down, right? Maybe, and there's somebody that you don't know very well, or maybe they're at work or whatever. And when we do that, and you're triggered by them and you're really upset, and then you realize, man, I do that inside my head to myself all the time. I'm so stupid. I hate this, right? You realize, oh my gosh, of course I'm attracting this. And this is God. This is you being revealed to yourself so that you can clean up and polish your own soul. That's what this is. And that's why we're looking at the mirror this way. The other place is you're doing it to someone else. And the classic example that I use is, there was a woman who, her husband wasn't showing up for dinner. She was making these amazing dinners. She really wanted him to come. She kept making more extravagant dinners and saying, please come. I'm having lamb tonight with this. And he wouldn't come. And she was heartbroken, and she was about to divorce him because she's like, he doesn't even care about me. And so we did the mirror practice. And within a week, her son got in the car from his second grade after school program, upset, saying, you don't care about me at all. You don't even love me. And I hate you. And she was like, what? And he goes, he had been asking for months for her to come early and watch him play with his friends on the playground. And he was the last kid almost every time that she picked up, because she used it selfishly for her own her own, errands and everything, getting her nails done or whatever. And it was breaking his heart. So she started showing up early and coming and being excited about watching him at school. And her husband started coming home from work. It's insane the way this works, but it's true. Okay. And then the last one is, I had a woman who had been working for a company for 30 years. And this younger woman came in, and they had the same boss. They weren't under each other. And the younger woman was taking personal days and getting her nails done during lunch and coming in late. And it was infuriating this woman who had been a staunch, good worker for 30 years at this company, right? Never, ever took a sick day. And what it was is, she really wanted to be able to be that way, but she was so rigid and strict. So what opened her was, I would like to be able to take lunch long. I would like to be able to take personal days. I've never, I was like, okay, does that open you? And she's like, it does. So she started taking personal days, and she started coming in a little bit late. Nobody noticed. She's like, nobody even notices. Nobody cares. I could have been doing this for 25 years. And then the woman got transferred within about a month. She was no longer even in the office with her. So these people come in our lives, and they rub us the wrong way, and they trigger us. And we can either take it as a place of victimhood, which is most common because that's what we know. That's what we learn. We're little babies. We're like, oh, you're hurting me. You're the bad guy. Or we can look at, how am I attracting this? But not from a place of shame, but from a place of, where am I not owning something that deeply needs to be a part of my life and shift?
Right.
So that I can clean up my own stuff. And anytime we have a trigger, positive or negative, we can be triggered by flattery. We can be triggered by all kinds of different things. A trigger doesn't have to be unpleasant. Okay. And we can get just as in trouble by somebody schmoozing us and then doing something, not so great. And where are we schmoozing somebody else to get what we want in a manipulative way or whatever. Right. So look at it from this place. And the key is, your exact words about how you feel will come around to you, except for the last one, which is, you'll suddenly be really angry that he gets to be this way. And
Right.
and it's like, and it turns down, I don't get to have somebody bother me to make my life work. I can't just, fail to get my license and then somebody else cleans up my mess. I just, and then, and there's a partnership where you've taken it all on as like being overly, not controlling, but overly responsible for his being an adult. Right?
Mhm.
And maybe there's a part of you that would really love to have somebody like got your back like that for a change. Pays attention to, things where you might be dropping a ball. I don't know, but it will come back around and it'll be obvious. And
Yeah.
and then from there, it's really just a sense of consciousness about it. You really almost don't have to do anything, because once you see it, you will decide how you're going to shift it, what you're going to do differently. And in this, you deciding what you're going to do with the information that's been revealed, it will clear itself up.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
then you won't, because we can't have him keep affecting your life this way. We need to figure out where this is showing up
Well,
for
yeah,
yourself.
yeah, because I don't really believe that he's going to change. He hasn't changed in 8 years. We are going through a divorce. I am divorcing him, but it's going to go on and on as long as we're married and have to do taxes together.
Well,
So,
also he can't, this is the hard part is, and it opens me to say this. I like to make sure before it,
okay.
but he can't change because this is part of your spiritual soul dance together.
Okay.
So he can't change yet. Once you uncouple this dance, this triggering, this codependent kind of experience, and figure out what's going on for you, then he could actually change. He may not. It may be that all of a sudden, he does. Wouldn't it be lovely if he starts cleaning up anything else that's out there that we don't know about, right? That he's responsible for that could affect you. That would be the dream. The hope is that by decoupling this, he suddenly realizes, oh, I have a list of things I should get done. But it's been. Have you ever really tried to do something different with somebody, and no matter how hard you tried, the same thing kept happening, and it's really obvious that the other person is like pulling it out of you?
I'm not
Does
sure.
that make sense? Yeah. Like I had a person, I'll give you an example, and this is
Okay.
interesting. I had a person who got really mad at me for being late. And I do have a time thing. My thing is, if I'm open at being a little bit late, then I know it's going to work for everybody. Okay. And it always has. Like I've shown up at things where I'm open that it's going to be fine. And I'll show up and the person's like, thank God you're late. My meeting went over and you would have been sitting here for 20 minutes. That kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, this person got really mad at me. So I really worked hard to show up on time. And no matter how many times I would leave 30 minutes early to make sure I was going to then there would be traffic or a train would stop and I couldn't turn around. I was locked. I mean, it was like, and they were so mad. They're like, you don't respect me. You keep coming late. And I'm like, you have no idea how hard I am trying to make it to you on time. It is not, I left 45 minutes early today and I'm still not here. You don't understand, and it's like, because there's something going on where, and I wasn't the only one. This person was really mad because she said everyone is late in her life. And do you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm trying, like there's something going on with you because everyone's late with you. And I am really trying deeply to make this work. That's what I'm talking about. Like you just can't. So I'm excited.
No, go ahead.
I'm excited for you because when we really get this and you start playing with it, you're going to be shocked. Number one, that it works. And then number two, you have a tool now that you can use anytime you get upset.
Yeah.
Because it works.
I mean, as we're talking, I realize that part of me feels like I don't even need to write out exactly how I feel because I do the same thing to myself. And I do the same thing to other people.
Yeah.
And my immediate next thought was, and I hate myself for it.
Yeah. So
that's my
that's closing. So that's closing.
Yeah. Okay. So that is closing.
So here's the deal. There is nothing, you are not doing that to people on purpose.
Okay.
So this is, okay. So Carrie,
Mm.
every human being on this planet, whether we can understand it or not, is doing the absolute best they can.
Okay. All right.
Okay. The places where you're doing this to yourself or someone else, it's an unconscious, automatic thing that's happening that now you're conscious of so you can change.
Okay.
You weren't conscious of it before this conversation. And now that you're conscious of it and you have awareness, now you can be at choice. But before this moment of this conversation, you were not at choice. It was just something you were unaware of.
Okay.
So it really only matters from this moment forward how you shift.
Okay.
Anything that was from the past where it was unconscious and you've been doing your best the whole time doesn't matter. So don't hate yourself for it. Now that you know and you see how it's affecting, because I think the mirror thing is really powerful, a powerful way that the world around us works, so that we can feel how others feel. We understand our impact on others and on ourselves, right? So the person berating the woman, right? She realized, wow, I'm doing that to myself. So the onslaught of how awful this person's being to me, I now realize that's the onslaught I'm doing to myself. I don't want to be like that to myself. And she stopped. She started catching all the because it's all closing, the berating she was doing to herself. You're so stupid. You're such an idiot. You're never going to get it right. That was some of the stuff she was saying.
Right.
She's like, I'm not going to do that anymore to my heart and myself. And she stopped. She was able to reprogram it with the IGS openings. So the key is the mirror just makes us aware of our impact so that we can actually stop it. That's what it's for. It's not so that we feel shame or guilt or bad about who we've already been.
Okay. That makes sense.
Because if you knew it 10 years ago, you would have changed it 10 years ago.
Right. So for me, the next step is, how do I make that shift? How do I make that shift?
It'll reveal itself. You'll notice it more and more.
Okay.
Okay. You'll just notice it, and you'll be about to do it. And you use your IGS to be like, I don't want to do this. So what am I going to do instead? Or you may receive it. You may just be like, this is kind of how I am. And you just tell everybody, I can be a flake sometime, or I can be this, whatever it is that you found and you discovered, you can just share it with them so that it doesn't impact them, and say, I'm aware of it. And if it bothers you, let me know and I'll do my best.
Okay.
It's just where I'm at. I'm sorry. I love you. It's just where I'm at right now. I'm just not good at this thing. People, I don't like to be on the phone because I'm on the phone all day long. And I have a lot of beautiful friends that I don't call enough, but it's because by the time I get home, I've already done 6 hours of calls. So I just have to be like, oh, I'm sorry. I can't sit on the phone for another 2 hours. It'll just kill me. So I'll see you when I see you, and I love you. I do love you, but I can't do any more phone time in my life.
Okay.
Okay.
It shall reveal
Good.
itself.
Yes. And we've got Andrea, who's like, I hate this exercise. It's so humbling, she says. She's like, I do too. It's a heart. Yeah. It's so great.
Okay.
All right, Carrie, thank you for being here.
Yep.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
All righty. Bye. That was so great. I appreciate you, Carrie. It's so wonderful. I love your vulnerability, your coachability. Thank you so much. These calls are so important. If you are interested in learning these tools, if you really would love to be able to use your IGS, this is just one of the sacred prompts that I use, the practices that I use. There's anything that's happening in your life. I'm serious. Anything that's going on that's causing you pain, suffering, upset, there is a solution within the internal guidance system and the way that you work with it to transform your mind. So if you're enjoying the kinds of conversation, the practices, the coaching, all of that is in my programs that you can find at BeFearFreeNow.com. Go to BeFearFreeNow.com. The membership is $47 a month. You get coaching with me like you just saw. And you also get the 14-day quick start program and the stress to happiness program. The two things that I was just talking about with procrastination and the quick start program is in the quick start program and in stress to happiness, as well as the mirror practice and more. So there isn't any reason. It's affordable, it's easy, and there's tons of access and all the practices that you need to clear up anything that you want to clear up. All right. So we're complete with our show for today. I think, let me see. Yes, we are. I don't see anybody else. I want to send you love and blessings. I will see you again. I am back streaming. I think it's at 9 a.m. on Wednesday morning. You can, if you subscribe, you'll get notifications to the shows that I do. I'm sending you love and blessings. Goodbye, everybody. Mwah! Have a great rest of your Sunday.